Welcome into Boxing Scene's top stories here on ProBox TV. Well, you know what makes you feel old? That's right. Tszyu, of course, I watched his dad, Tszyu, fight. Now he's an adult fighting on his own and making a name for himself and a last name everyone recognizes. Huge opportunity in front of him because the IBF has made the mandatory opponent for Bagram Murtazaliyev coming up. Now, they've ordered it. It might not happen, but is he the odd man out at 154 pounds? A weight class that is full of talent. Of course, Terrence Crawford moving up to 154. And could he be the one of all the talent who has a name, but we're not talking about him? Jimmy Smith, of course, joined by Paulie Malignaggi, Chris Algieri. Paulie, what is his position in this division that is loaded with talent, loaded with opportunities, loaded with possibilities, and a GOAT sitting in it? Where is right now Tszyu?
I mean, Tszyu is one of the best fighters in the world. I mean, even in a weight class that's loaded with talent, Tszyu is among the very best in his weight class. Before the controversial loss to Fundora, honestly, I was picking him to be the future of this weight class, and he wants all the smoke as well. He was ready to fight Virgil Ortiz, if not for the injury that was continuing from the cut in the Fundora fight. It's always fun when you've got a fighter who not only is good, but also wants all the smoke at an age where he still hasn't even developed his full potential yet, but he already wants all the smoke. You mentioned he's a son of a legend. Well, you know what? It's not just a son of a legend, Jimmy. He's also an excellent fighter in his own right. The son of a legend helps out, but a lot of times sons of legends only go by promotability because of the fact that they're sons of legends. In Tszyu's case, he's a legitimate world-class fighter who can continue to win world championships and be a threat to the top of the weight class. And this is a very good weight class. It's a very fun weight class. Hopefully, any issues with Turkey Al-Ashi can be worked out because I really want to see Tszyu fighting all the top guys. Murtazaliyev himself is a pretty good fighter. It would be nice to see if the IBF enforces this fight and not just calls for the mandatory, because now with sanctioning bodies, you don't know. The way we see Benavidez, you may become a mandatory, but you don't get the shot. So hopefully the fight happens soon and Tszyu can get back into the mix. With all respect to Murtazaliyev, who's again, he's a pretty good fighter himself. But I want to see Tszyu in with all the smoke here at 154, and I really hope that it can work out.
Chris, Paulie brought it up, this idea that he's kind of get back in with Turkey Al-Ashi and get in this big money mix at 154 pounds. How does the fight with Murtazaliyev, how can that propel him toward that goal?
Well, I mean, it's a world title fight, and it is the IBF that is calling for this fight, which is good because the IBF has actually been the only governing body that's actually been stripping people lately. So even if this fight doesn't occur, Murtazaliyev is going to get stripped of that belt. Obviously, they want Tszyu to fight for it, so he could then fight in a vacant title opportunity. But Jimmy, from the start, you mentioned, like, is this guy being left out? Well, no, he's getting a title fight, which is going to interject him right back into the mix if he's able to get the win. So he's now a world titleist in a very, very hot division. He's one of the most talented guys in that division and belongs with everyone else who's there. And on top of that, like you said, champ, he wants to fight all those guys. He wants to fight those top other names. And I love the point you made, champ, about in terms of he's not just a name, he's a good fighter. And he's been consistently blazing his own trail, regardless of who his father is and what his namesake is. He wants to be his own man, be his own champion. And you can see that in the way he moves. You can see that in the way he talks during interviews. And I think this is just the next step to him getting his career back on track. Because obviously he had that tough loss in that last fight with that nasty elbow cut that kept him out of kept him away from winning that fight because I had him winning that fight up until that point. And then also getting kicked out of the Victor Ortiz matchup that was supposed to be happening this month. So he really took a hard luck, in that fight. Not only losing his title, but also losing his next fight opportunity. But he's back in the mix. He's getting a title shot. I think that this is going to be good for not only the division, but for the sport, because Tszyu is very talented.
What I'm curious about is Paulie, Chris, you guys have both had your ups and downs of your careers. You have your losses, you've had your wins. Paulie, the mental side. Chris talked about the bad streak of luck from the Fundora fight. Of course, supposed to fight Ortiz. They said the cut hadn't healed enough. How do you mentally kind of get back into a winning space? Is it difficult? Is it easy in the gym?
I mean, it depends on how enthusiastic and passionate you are about the sport, right? If you're really, really revving to go, sometimes you have a little bit of a chip on your shoulder, and Tszyu is a very competitive guy. You can see in the way he came up the ladder, there was a lot of momentum behind him. So I think the way he took the L in the last fight leaves a bad taste in your mouth. Shoot, it leaves a bad taste in people's mouths that weren't in the fight. Like, I look at that fight, and I left, the ringside doctor was atrocious and left a bad taste in my mouth. So I can't even imagine the bad taste it left in Tszyu's mouth. So I think that kind of stuff itself motivates you and and pushes you to want to show everybody, man, that's not what this is about. You're going to see what I'm about soon, you know. And I think Tszyu is probably going to come back with that kind of chip on his shoulder because he was ready to. I mean, think about it. He was ready to fight Virgil Ortiz in his next fight. It's somebody who comes off that loss and is ready to fight Virgil Ortiz in his very next fight wants all the smoke. It's a different kind of mentality. Not everybody has this kind of mentality. Tszyu has it, and you're seeing it more and more in this generation. But honestly, past generations, guys are looking to protect brands, dodge each other. We saw Haney and Stevenson kind of dancing around each other at 35. It never happened. Lomachenko wanted all the smoke, but now you got Tszyu, who's a guy who wants all the smoke. You got Virgil Ortiz, who wants all the smoke. He's fighting Boachuk himself. Crawford obviously has wanted all the smoke. You're seeing these guys now. They're not just, I'm trying to protect my Instagram brand. You're trying to fight each other and be the best. That's what it comes down to. Sport is about being the best. Branding is nice, but wanting to be the best for your own sake, for your own putting your head on the pillow at night and say, I want to be the best. Tszyu has that mentality. He wants to be the best.
Hopefully you get to see him in the ring to prove it very, very soon. ProBox TV always bringing you the boxing news. IBF wants this fight to happen. Will it? We'll keep you informed. As always, download the app and never miss it. For more ProBox TV, scan the QR code on the screen or go to the App Store and Google Play. ProBox TV, your boxing channel.